So what is blood flow restriction therapy? It's essentially using cuffs or bands to partially restrict blood flow to a limb while you exercise. This enhances muscle growth and muscle strength while doing lighter loads. Why it's really great is because some of us develop pain when we're doing heavier loads, or maybe we're injured, and this will allow us to still get the same benefits while we are in like a recovery phase. It's been used in Japan for decades and has more recently kind of become popular in Western medicine. Now, blood flow restriction therapy works because it locally reduces the oxygen and metabolites, so the chemicals that your muscles use to produce force. This stimulates protein synthesis locally. Systemically, it gets the central nervous system, signals it to try to increase activity of the muscles to try to compensate for the fact that it realizes that we aren't getting enough force out of the muscles when we ask for it. So basically, the brain sends a signal to the muscle, tells it to contract. The contraction is as strong as it expects, so it sends more signal to the muscles to contract. This also causes the autonomic nervous system, so that's like our fight or flight system, to increase heart rate, increase muscle tone, improves our ventilation and our sweating. Blood flow restriction therapy actually releases the hormones, human growth hormone and insulin-like growth factor, to actually help us to build tissue more effectively. We are creating an oxygen deficit in that limb. And that oxygen deficit triggers us to try to do all this stuff to improve oxygen flow to the area, so increases blood flow and protein synthesis and all this to make it more efficient. Is blood flow restriction therapy safe? Is a big question that people say. Many studies have been done. They did a study that was in 232 clinics, and the only side effects that they found, and it was 13,000 plus patients total, were a little bit of some bruising that could occur, some dizziness that occurred in some patients, and that was the only side effects that they had found. And the dizziness is a normal thing that we hear in many people who exercise. So the conclusion is blood flow restriction therapy is safe, but it's as safe as other forms of exercise. There are some people who cannot do blood flow restriction therapy. And there is, I'm probably going to just list this for you guys. The big ones are if you have an arrhythmia or if you have a history of blood clots, those would be the people who I would really caution against blood flow restriction therapy. People who are pregnant definitely aren't going to want to do this to start. Like any exercise, you want to talk to your physician and make sure that you're all right to do this type of exercise. What kind of cuffs or bands should I buy or should I use? So I would recommend you use something that is commercially available for BFR. Don't just start taking random things and using them to restrict blood flow. What we're using currently is these BFR bands. You can click the link in the bio. They've been good so far. We've been using them with our patients, and again, we're using them for ourselves. You don't want to use something that's going to totally stop blood flow. That is not a safe situation. We're not trying to create a tourniquet. We're just trying to reduce the amount of blood going into the limb and not using so much pressure that the muscle can't pump the extra blood back out. So how do I place blood flow restriction bands? Well, first of all, make sure you guys have a blood flow restriction band that cannot fully occlude our arterial blood. So if you're having pain in the limb, when you put it on, it's too tight. The pressure should be about a 6 or a 7 out of 10 of what you think is tight. Want to put it as high up on the limb as possible. So it doesn't matter if I'm working my hand strength or my bicep strength or my chest. I'm going to put the blood flow restriction cuff as high as I possibly can. So we're going to put it on my left arm here. So we're going to go all the way up as high as I can. I'm going to put the cuff on to where I feel like it's about a 7 out of 10 tightness. And now I'm ready to exercise. If when I'm exercising, I'm getting a lot of pain, and we're not talking about the burn that you get, but actual pain. it's on too tight. I shouldn't see my hand starting to get really dark red. It's all right to be slightly discolored, but it should not be getting dark because that means you're cutting off the arterial blood flow. We don't want that. Now, let me show you guys what it's going to look like for a leg. So again, I'm going to go up as high as I can, and I'm going to tighten this down. And that's it. That would be on like a thigh. You're going to do the exercise, and once you do the exercise, you're going to take it off in between sets and tighten it back up when you do your next set.